They say you need to spend money to make money. But the real question is, where should you spend? In today's world, we are constantly surrounded by advertising that overpromise and underdelivers. We are told the next phone, the next car, or the next luxury items will somehow transform our lives. But most of it just burns through our cash and ends up as expensive clutter, collecting dust in the corner. Hi friends, welcome back. For people who are new to my channel, my name is Lincoln. I have spent over 15 years as a practicing accountant and investor, helping clients grow their wealth, not just by saving, but by spending intentionally. In this video, I am going to walk you through 5 strategic purchases I made that don't drain my wallet, that grow it. These are the things I buy that pay me back in time, energy, and money. If you are serious about buying long-term wealth, designing a life of freedom, this video is your blueprint. Let's dive in. Number 1. Buy time to scale your freedom. Picture this, you have a single day to handle your job, manage your household, plan for your future. It's impossible to excel in every area alone. That's where other people's time, OPT, come into play. I used to think doing everything myself was a smart way to save money. But in reality, it was costing me far more than I realized, not just in time, but in missed opportunities. Every hour I spent on low-value tasks was an hour I wasn't investing in a work that actually moved the needle. The truth is, 90% of what I was doing wasn't my strength. Only 10% of my work truly create value, the kind of work I get paid for. So I made a decision, protect the 10% and delegate the rest. I started focus on my core strengths, teaching, strategy, relationship, and I began outsourcing the tasks I wasn't good at or didn't enjoy. Not just to save time, but to manage my energy, because every time I sat down to do something outside my zone of competency, I had to burn willpower just to get through it. As motivation barely lasts, but systems do. So now I buy back my time. I hire virtual assistants, video editor, website developer, and bookkeeper, people who are expert at what they do. This frees me to focus on networking with potential leads for my business, creating valuable content for the YouTube, exploring new business opportunities. By delegating routine tasks to skilled professionals, I free up dozens of hours each week. Hours I could invest in growing my business and developing robust systems to play long-term games. It's the difference between stretching yourself too thin and scaling up sustainably. Number 2. Buy asset that earns while you sleep. Investment guru Warren Buffett once said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. I have never been interested in chasing hot stocks or predicting which company will beat the market next quarter. That's not investing, that's speculation. And speculation, more often than not, leads to disappointment. Instead, I put my money into broad, low-cost index funds quietly, consistently, and with discipline. These funds don't try to beat the market, they are the market. When I buy an index fund, I'm not gambling on a singular company's future. I am investing in hundreds or even thousands of businesses across the economy. That's the diversification in its purest form. If a few of them stumble, others are likely to thrive. The system balances itself. Time is better spent building something real, in my opinion, like a business, a relationship, a meaningful life. And while no one can promise what the market will do tomorrow or next year, history tells a clear story. Over time, the market goes up, slowly, steady, through war, recession, and pandemic. It recovers and it grows. Investing this way is like planting a tree. You water it regularly, you leave it alone. You don't dig it up every few weeks to check the roots. You let it grow. That's how I think about money. I don't want to work for it forever. I want it to work for me. In the background, quietly compounding while I focus on what really matters. It's not flashy, but it works. Number 3. Buying other people's expertise to accelerate your goal. You grow faster when you learn from someone else's journey instead of making every mistake on your own. And the fastest way to do it is by leveraging someone else's experience. I don't try to figure everything out on my own. I invest in the visions of those who are already there I want to be. That means paying for mentors who have been in the game for over a decade. It means reading a book that compresses 40 years of experience into 300 pages. And it means flying across the world to attend live seminars and private coaching, where transformation happens fast. I flew to David's Destiny in Florida for Tony Robbins' seminar. I saw her at the Business Mastery in Las Vegas, and I walked away with a framework that completely shifted how I think about business, wealth, and relationship. The most expensive advice is the advice you get it for free, because a bad advice doesn't just cost you time, it can cost you years. That's why I pay for clarity, speed, and result. And while I'm mentoring others, I tell them the same thing I live by. Learn from people who walk their talk. Number 2, choose mentors with no conflict of interest. Number 3, look for someone who at least 10 years ahead of your game and still growing. And yes, mentors like that can be difficult to find, so I always invest in quality books and trust YouTube channels because those are powerful ways to shortcut years of trial and tribulation. When you buy experience, you are not buying information, you are buying acceleration, and that's a game changer. Number 4, buy real estate and business with leverage. Most people think they need to be rich to invest in real estate. But the wealthy play a different game. They don't work for money, they make money work for them. And more importantly, they use other people's money, OPM. That's how I buy real estate. I don't need to have all the cash. The bank brings the majority of their money to the table. I bring the deal and the strategy. Here's how it works. You buy a property for 300k as example. You put in say 10 to 20% of your own money. The bank loans you the rest. Now here is the beauty. Your tenant pays down the mortgage, not you. And while what's happening on the background, the property is increasing in value. That's the cash flow and capital growth, a double win. I do the same thing when I buy business, whether it's a franchise or cash-flowing private company. I use leverage to scale faster and spread risk. I don't want to work harder for every dollar. I want my asset to do the heavy lifting. But here is the catch. Not all debt is good debt. You have to buy assets that produce enough income to cover the loan and some left for your profit. That's how the rich get richer. They don't take on debt to consume. They take on debt to acquire income-producing assets. Stop thinking like a consumer. Start thinking like an investor. Use smart leverage. Buy cash flow. Let money work for you. Number 5. Buying travel adventures that pay you for life. Most people see travel as an expense, something that drains their bank account with no financial return. But the way I see it, travel is an investment that pays lifelong dividends. Every time I step into a new country, try new experiences or new people from different backgrounds, I am not just spending money, I am buying memories that appreciate in value over time. This experience reshaped my perspective, introduced me to new opportunities, and most importantly, become the story I can tell for a lifetime. And here is the thing, unlike physical possessions that lose value, experiences appreciate. The more time passes, the more valuable they become. Every time I reflect on past trips, whether it's an unforgettable adventure or a chance encounter that changed the way I think about life, I am reminded that money spent on experience never really disappears. It compounds in ways you can't even measure in dollar terms. And these dividends, they don't just make life richer, they open doors. Some of my best business ideas and most valuable connections have come from spontaneous conversation in places I never expected. If I had to choose between spending money on another luxury items like Porsche or using that money to travel somewhere new, I would pick the adventure every single time because the best returns aren't always measured in dollars. They are measured in the life you build with them. These 5 strategic purchases aren't about showing off or impulsive spending. They are about multiplying time, compounding money, and accelerating personal growth. Whenever I buy something, I ask myself, will this save me time, make me more money, or advance my goals? If not, I pass. If you found value in this video, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more insight. Comment below which one purchase you are going to make this year that will pay you back many times over. Let's build your financial future one smart investment at a time. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.